Thank you.
In what way do you face an adverse situation? In what way do you overcome your past experiences and develop yourself further in your life? Such kind of question we all have in our life. And that is the reason we need to talk, have dialogue, listen, and learn from different people, different culture. To understand ourselves by hearing others' stories and experiences. In the same way, on the Women Dialogues, I try to bring those unique, authentic stories to inspire us, to motivate, and to create a global voice for the speaker, for me, for you, and for all. I'm your host Shashi, once again with today's speaker Sophia from South Africa to create more voice for women and by women. Sophia is an inspirational writer, speaker, and author, and many more. She is the founder of the I Do Matter organization in South Africa. So let's join our hands together and welcome dear Sophia on this platform. So welcome Sophia on this platform.
Thank you, Dr. Sashi. So it feels so good to be here.
It's a great pleasure, and
Um,
I'm very excited to hear your learning, your stories, and to get ourselves a dose of inspiration and motivation. So let's discuss about your journey. So let's get to know about by getting a deeper level of knowledge and hearing about your life journey, experiences, and challenges, and so.
so I think I had to pretty much mature from a very, very young age, because from a young age already my life was full of so many challenges. And I've experienced all sorts of challenges, abuse, depression. From a young age, I started having suicidal thoughts, but they were still um, building up to a point where I became a mother, and then I experienced loss. I had several miscarriages as well. I lost my mom, which was very hard for me to deal with. And then, I thought I had overcome all of that. And that is when I decided that it was time to enter, the next level of my life, and that was getting married.
Mhm.
So little did I know that, getting married would mean that I was going to meet someone who comes with their own background. And given that I had not dealt with
Mhm.
my own trauma, with my own challenges, with my own adversity,
Yeah.
it would cause a strain in our
Yes.
marriage. So I found myself not knowing who I was anymore. I found myself going deep and deep and deep, into depression, into anxiety. My
Yeah.
suicidal thoughts became worse, because I remember in my marriage, I attempted suicide three
Okay.
times, and
Mhm.
it was on the fourth time that
Mhm.
the psychologist declared that I was a risk to myself.
Mhm.
And that was really hard. I don't want to lie.
Mhm.
And eventually everything else, there's a lot of things that happened within the marriage, but in short, my husband and I ended up getting divorce,
Mhm.
because it was just too much for both of
Mhm.
us. And to be honest, I realized a later stage that I contributed more to the
Mhm.
challenges that we had in our marriage more than anything, because I
Mhm.
didn't give myself to pause and
Mhm.
ask the right questions. Have I overcome what I
Mhm.
faced?
Mhm.
How can I actually overcome it? Have I
Mhm.
really, really, really dealt with it? And how is it affecting me? I never asked these questions, and I
Yeah.
just carried on with life. And I think that
Mhm.
was the biggest challenge. That was the biggest mistake that I made, because it affected me a lot. The divorce, after the divorce, my life just became a mess. It became a total mess. I couldn't recognize myself anymore. I didn't know who I was anymore. I hated life. I hated living. I hated everything. I just wanted it to end. And yeah, this is just a little bit of my background.
Yeah, and I after hearing all these incidences, all these kind of thoughts and challenges in your life, definitely it is challenging, and it is kind of a vicious cycle when we get into these kind of situation. But today, when we are seeing you, you are a established and successful mentor, coach, and having your own organization. So how you overcome all those challenges? As you mentioned, it was a cyclic, like you was keep getting
Yeah.
all those kind of thoughts, and it was a continuum process. But how you came out through all those processes?
Well, after it became a process, obviously, but the process had to start with me. It had to start with the decision that I had to take, because um, after the last attempt, sitting down with the psychologist and listening to him speak, him asking me all the questions, I think for a moment, I just suddenly remembered that, you know what, I have a son. How did I forget all along that I have a son, that I'm not just living for myself, that I'm living for someone? What would happen if I were to die? I'll be, my son would obviously grow up, with the trauma of knowing that my mom took her own life. So I didn't want that for my son. And for that moment, I started having this desire that I will do whatever it takes for my life to change. I will admit whatever that I have to admit. I will confess whatever that I need to confess. But I'm ready. If I can just, I remember even making a prayer saying, God, if you can just give me someone, who've experienced this or more, if they can just hold my hand and help me in this journey, I will do whatever that it takes. And it happened that I got invited by a friend of mine, Regina from Germany. She invited me to an event by Female Wave of Change. It was a conference. So when I got to the conference, after everything, after the event, I was presented an opportunity to tell my story. So I did tell my story, and I was asked, to make a request. What would I like? What kind of help am I looking for? And I remember I said, the only thing that I want at this moment is to have a mentor, someone who can just help me and give me light of how can I come out of this hole that I've dug, for myself? How can I come out from this darkness? And that is when I met my mentor, Mrs. Yvonne Busisiwakame. And this is when my journey started. This is when I got to discover, just how powerful I am, and just how capable I am and actually was, to overcome the challenges. And I remember what she said to me was, I heard your story at the conference, so I'm not going to ask you to share your story again, but I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to go home, think about your marriage, think about your life, and I want you to tell me what you are grateful for. Shashi, put yourself in my shoes, right?
It is a difficult, and it's a challenging situation. I can imagine when somebody is asking you this, retrieving all those past memories and thoughts and process again in your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So please.
So I went home. I was like, this woman, does she really want me to be grateful? I mean, I told her I've been crying all my life.
Yeah.
I've been sad all my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
What is there to be grateful for? There's nothing. Everything is just a mess. You
Yeah.
know, I can make a long list of how a
Finding all
mess,
the, yeah,
my
finding
life
all the,
is. Yes.
yeah, finding
Yes.
all the
And
reasons to be making feeling yourself that your life is misery. Yeah, that is true. I can understand
exactly.
your situation. Yeah.
Exactly. And I went home.
Yeah.
I remember that night I couldn't sleep.
Mm.
I was twisting and turning on the bed, like, what is there to be grateful for?
Yeah.
And I this took me 3 days, still thinking about it. What is
Yeah.
there to be grateful for? And
Yeah.
I remember she called me and still insisted, no,
Yeah.
Sissy, write down, what are you grateful for? And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, if she's saying that I must think of what I'm grateful for, there definitely has to be something
Yeah.
that I'm grateful for. And
Yeah.
it's so sad that even my son didn't come
Mm-hmm.
to mind. you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's so
Mm-hmm.
sad, but it's reality. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember sitting down
Mm-hmm.
with my laptop on my lap, and I was like, okay, Sophia, think hard. You said you're determined to do whatever it takes to change your life.
Yeah.
Sit down, think very hard. And
Yeah.
I thought and thought and thought and thought for hours. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I just remember, I just remembered how many times I had tried to take my life,
Yeah.
but it never happened. I survived the attempt. And I
Mm-hmm.
remembered just how many people wished they could still live, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have that opportunity. Some they woke up dead, some they were in accidents, some they had their lives taken away from them, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
Yeah.
here I was trying to end my life, but I'm still alive.
Right.
And I wrote it down. I said, I'm grateful to be alive. And that's
Yes,
how it
that is
started
powerful
every
thing.
day.
Yes, yes, that
Yeah.
is a very powerful thinking
Yes.
and very positive way to feel your gratitude towards your own life.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So every day, it became, I became so um, anxious to see what I would be grateful for the next day,
yeah,
So
right.
I woke up every single morning to think, what am I grateful for? And every single day I was finding that I had so much more to be grateful for. And then I challenged myself to also look at, my previous marriage, because I knew that I still loved my husband. And
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't, I just couldn't accept how things just ended. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know,
Yeah,
was it all bad? And I found out that actually, because I was so focused on all the negatives that were happening in my life, from my
right,
childhood coming to marriage, the minor mistakes,
right.
um, from his side, in our marriage.
Yeah,
For me, it clouded my entire perspective. I
right,
couldn't see anything beyond that.
right.
So, but then learning to be grateful every day helped me to see that, there's more, actually, there's more positives than negatives. And I
Yeah,
think that really helped me a lot, because every day I was finding myself changing, becoming more positive, looking forward to waking up, the next day, looking
right.
forward to accept, to take accountability of
Mm-hmm.
where I was wrong, of my
Yeah,
mistakes, and also looking for ways to change all of that. So my transformation
mm-hmm.
started by just learning to be grateful and
Right.
allowing, that attitude uh, of 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 being grateful to change my entire perspective, of
Mm-hmm.
life. And I'm telling you, Dr. Sashi, that today, despite of all the challenges or the negatives that are happening around, I never invest so much on that. I always ask myself, okay, if this is wrong, there has to be something right. Let me focus on what is right. If this is not going well, there has to be something that can definitely go right, or something that's going right. So my mindset is fixed to what is possible, is fixed to what is important, is fixed to what is positive rather than everything else. And
I think
this is
that
why
way
today,
you got a lot of points about being accountable, being having acceptability about your own behavior, about your own surroundings, or
yeah,
whatever way you are creating your life. So those are very key points, and especially when we are talking about in current scenario where we are seeing a lot of stress, anxiety, anxiousness, and uh, it's totally relate your
mm,
story, your how you overcome to inspire others. So this
mm,
transformation journey, when you are saying, I was saying myself that I should be accountable for my own life, whether it is going right or wrong. So
yeah.
that's really very key point. Can you tell us a bit more about how one can do? Because these are, in everyone's life, maybe those ups and down, or those kind of points come in their life. But
Mm,
since you are sharing your life journey, how you overcome, how
yeah.
you bring those transformational uh, point in your life. Yeah,
Yeah. So accountability is not something that is easy. We don't want to be accountable for anything. We
exactly.
we
That's
don't
that's
want.
fear. People have fear, and people have always rejection. No, I'm not like this. That's something very challenging. So
Yes.
that is why I want to talk more and listen from you. Yeah.
Exactly. So we want to point a finger. We want
Yeah.
someone to take a blame, right?
Mhm.
And somewhere, somehow, I don't know if it makes us feel whole or whatsoever, but I feel that it just keeps us in a corner and we'll never get out of the corner because
Mm.
we are not solving the problem, in the right way. We are just
Right.
pointing fingers, 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 right? So as I said that I had to take accountability of my mistakes, and I will refer back also to our marriage.
Yeah.
um I had to ask myself, okay, I had so many things that I was complaining about. My husband not doing that, not saying this, blah blah blah, so many complaints. And then
Yeah.
I said, okay, was I perfect? Does it mean that I was perfect?
Yeah.
Was I an angel? Did I not hurt him? And
Mhm.
sitting down and reflecting upon that, I realized that I actually, contributed a lot more to us having problems, to us, separating more than anything else. I mean, who wants a wife who always complains? You go to work
Mhm.
in the morning, you come back home, you find a wife who complains about everything,
Mhm.
things that you don't even have answers for,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
she's still complaining. And I realized that some of my complaints was more of I felt that as a child I didn't get as much love as I needed, or as much support as I needed. So him
Mhm.
being my partner, him being my husband, I wanted him to replace all those years, that I lost. I wanted him to be what I never had growing up, and
Mhm.
that was so wrong. So just accepting that, no, this is me. When you are depressed, taking the time to reflect, why am I depressed? Am I
Mhm.
depressed because I pay more attention to the bad things that are happening? Am
Yeah.
I depressed because I never allow myself to see beyond, what I'm going through? What
Yeah.
is causing me sleepless nights? Is it because I don't, it's those kind of questions that you have to ask yourself, and you have to be willing to be honest enough to accept. For example, when you are not healthy, normally we just say that no, it just happened, I just got sick. But you
Yeah.
have to ask yourself, how did I get sick?
Yeah.
It might be that you didn't eat well, you were not eating well, you were not drinking enough water. That's just an example, basic
Right.
um, things that can contribute to you not being as healthy as you're supposed to be. But
Right.
until you get to that point where you question yourself and
Right.
you are willing and humble enough to give yourself honest answers, then nothing will happen, because everything
Right.
starts with accountability. It's not everything bad that happens in our lives because people affected our lives. Sometimes it's because of the decisions and the
Mm.
choices,
Right.
that we make. So accountability plays a big role in anyone who's taking a journey, who's walking or who is in a journey of transformation. So accountability is the first thing for me.
Yeah. As the way you explained, it's a beautiful way, and it's such an inspiring story. And I personally feel like accountability, not in the personal life, but in every sphere, whether you are professional, whether you are dealing with your relations, or in your or your personal transformation. Like, you need to be accountable to have challenge, have the courage to see your uh, those questions to get answer in an honest way, where you always try to escape. As you mentioned, asking right question and getting the right way to answer is so
Yeah,
important. And I think that's the one of the way, whether we are performing on a professional place, our conflict with our colleagues, or maybe there is a tight hustle, or is between, indirect way, is all about our accountability, how honestly we talk to ourselves and to our colleagues.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. So when we are talking about all these things, and today you have your organization, how you work and how you help others, while you have gone through all those things, and now you are
Mm.
a leadership person, you teach others, so how you help others.
Yeah. So when I've always wanted to have, my own organization, my own NGO
Mm-hmm.
where I served, because I loved serving. From a young age, serving has always been in my heart. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I really had to think hard about what route did I want to change, did I want to take, and what impact, did I want to make? Because it's not
Mm-hmm.
about you just having an organization. It's about what impact that organization is gonna make. And that is why I decided to start I2 Matters program, which um, I can say, I didn't want to put it in the way, but I can say it advocates for the boy child. So what I'm trying to say is that, we are living in a world whereby gender-based violence is a pandemic itself. It's not a matter to laugh about. And I wanted to be part of the solutions of how can we really end this, because I believe that no man was born to to go to prison. No man was born to rape, to kill, or to abuse. There had
Yeah.
to be something that triggered all of that. There had to be something that contributed all of that. And being a survivor as well of gender-based violence, I then decided that let me just observe a little bit the boy child. How is he raised? How does society see him? How does culture perceive him? What are the expectations? And I found that, the moment that a boy child is born, he's
Mhm.
not born to himself, but he's born to cultural expectations, societal norms.
Yeah.
It's more like there's already a manual written of how he should be, how he should behave, what he should wear, what he should say, what he should do, all of that. And being a mom, raising a boy as well, that really um, sent a strong message to me and an edge to say, perhaps maybe this is where we must start.
Mhm.
Let us show boys that, they're not just boys when they're born, but they are human,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
perhaps if we can give them the same affection as we were to give the girl child,
Right.
support them, let them know that, um,
Mhm.
beside their expectations and whatsoever, they can grow up to be who they are. They have the right to cry when they're hurt. In
Yeah.
my culture, they say a man doesn't cry, he cries inside with his heart. But that is wrong, because
Yeah.
if
Exactly.
he doesn't express,
Yeah.
his feelings and all that,
Yeah.
it will
That
all
is so true.
become, it
That
will,
is so true, as you are
yeah,
explaining about these cultural norms, those expectations. And it's like, moreover, I feel like child is born with some expectation and he's no more child, because
yes,
if you see a child, whether it's girl, boy, or any gender, they are a
mm-hmm.
child. They cry for their toy or their chocolate or whatever it is. They express
Yes,
the natural way, but slowly, gradually, all those social norms, those cultural expectations, which we add in their life, right?
mm,
And our cultural
yeah,
expectation, okay, a boy is supposed to do like that, a boy is supposed to, the way you explain in your own culture, that the boys
mm, mm,
not not supposed to cry, which is wrong, because at the end,
mm,
every have those feminine and masculine abilities. We talk about women empowerment, and we are giving a lot of masculine abilities to the women. They can do
yes,
this work, that work. At the same time, we are hiding those feminine qualities in men. Men has also those
yes,
qualities, but why we are not trying to tell them, why we are not trying to teach them? uh, because
yes,
every human, they have those emotions. If a man is failure, he whether he's a successful or failure, if he's crying, which is okay, because at the end,
exactly.
those emotions are important to have a feeling being a human.
Mm,
Yeah.
exactly. So that is
So
why so that is
so
why I
important.
found this to be very important, to be a very important initiative for me. So we have been supporting boys, in my country, in various places. We have some organizations that we have been working with, sending across this message that, you might be a young man now, you might be a grown man now, but you are still human, right?
Yeah.
You still need to understand who you are
Yeah.
first, before as a gender. Understand yourself first as a human,
Mhm.
as an emotional being, as a physical being, as a spiritual being. Understand, all of that, and then the gender will eventually, unfold itself. And we are also encouraging mothers, if in your house you have both a girl and a boy child, raise them the same. If you would hug your girl child every now and then, do the same with your boy child. If you would
Yeah.
tell your girl child that you love them every now and then, do the same, with your
Mhm.
boy child. Let us
Yeah.
not deprive them affection, because
Yeah.
when they grow up, we expect them to be men in a society who show
Mhm.
affection to their women, to their wives, to their partners. But if as mothers we have not given them, have shown them, their affection, how
Yeah.
can they know, right? Let us teach our boys how to communicate their feelings while they are
Yeah.
still young, so that when they
Mhm.
are older, they are able to communicate better with their partners, in the society. Let us teach them that, being a boy
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you are stronger than the girl. It simply
Yeah.
means that you are different gender. That's it. But you
Yes.
have the heart, you have a heart, you have emotions. You know, you technically the same. So this is why, you know, I2Meta program is very, very, very dear to my heart. And I hope that, you know, in the near future, we will have more and more women, you know, realizing that women empowerment has to also include the boy and the girl child at the young age. If we want to overcome the difficulties, the
Yeah.
differences we have between men and women, it has
Yeah.
to start with the little ones.
Yeah.
So this is
It's
what
exactly the way
I2Matters
you
is all
explain.
about.
It is the I can say the base. It should be a basic, not the luxury. Because when we
Yeah.
lose our basic foundation, our other goals or superior other priorities or other superior
Mm.
goals always are shaking, right? So our
Yes.
foundation should be clear from very beginning and very solid. The way you explain it is so important.
Mm.
Uh, but when we are
Yes.
talking all about it, how you see your future plans for your work, for yourself, for your community work, and all about.
Um, so as you know that I am now a coach. I'm a life coach. So as a coach, my plans is, you know, to help people, to inspire
Mhm.
people more than anything, to realize the power of their internal resources. Because
Mhm.
this is where I had to start. I had to realize the power within me first
Mhm.
before, you know, acknowledging all the help, you know, from the external help, you know, mentors, be it a job or whatsoever. I first had to realize what I have inside, you know, and
Mhm.
the powerful resources that I have. Gratitude became my powerful internal resource. Confidence, ambition, those became, you know, the greatest resources that I had to embrace, utilize for me to, you know, have this victory where I am. So as a coach, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm headed, to raise a generation of women, young men, youth, you know, who are aware of just how powerful, you know, they are within before they can start looking outside. Because if you
It
look
is
outside
definitely
first,
powerful. It is definitely powerful
yes.
and ambitious future plans. And I wish you good luck for your future
Thank you.
endeavors. So, but when we are coming towards our end of session, what message would you like to give to our audience?
Um, always remember, don't be too hard on yourself. You know, life is a journey, and it has to be lived. Everything that we go through, we have to go through it at some point. We cannot run away. Asking the question why me will not help you. Instead, you must say why not me,
Yes.
because if you don't experience challenges in your life, you will never know. You will never know just how powerful and just how strong you are.
Yeah.
Secondly, don't be scared to ask for help when you have to. There are things we can do by ourselves, but
Mhm.
once in a while, we need a little bit of help. If you are a woman,
Yeah.
speak out, you know, voice out. If you are a man, speak out, voice out, so that you may have the help that you need. But more than anything, embrace gratitude, because gratitude is everything. If you are grateful, life becomes more meaningful, life becomes lighter, and your perspective of life becomes positive. Doesn't matter what challenge may come, doesn't matter what trials, you know, what circumstance, it doesn't matter what position you may find yourself in. But when you are a grateful person, gratitude will lead you. Gratitude will be your victory.
Yeah, again, once again, it is very powerful message. It is containing a lot of wisdom, experience, knowledge, and we can see through this message. Thank you once again. But before finishing,
Thank you.
I just would like to ask, why do you feel a platform like this, Women Dialogue, is so much needed?
Um, women, we go through a lot, and we think that we are the only ones going through certain situations. But having a platform like this, like for example, as young as I am, no one would think that I got married, got divorced, got married again to my husband. For some people, it is highly impossible, but it is when we come forward and we share our stories
Mhm.
that we are able to inspire the next person, because how many women are getting divorced, and not all divorces are supposed to end up as divorces. But as I said, it all takes a little bit of accountability from both sides.
Mhm.
So these platforms will help us relate to other women, and maybe reflect, upon listening to what they're saying, we'll be able to reflect and apply, you know whatever that we learn in our lives. You never know.
Mhm.
I might be the voice that you needed to hear. You might be the voice that I need to hear. So it's very important.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much. It was such a great pleasure to be with you today. You really
Thank,
bring a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and such inspiring stories from your life. It is truly meaningful to have such conversation. Thank you once again. Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you, Dr. Sashi.
Thank you, dear. And thanks to all viewers. If you would like to hear more women voices and part of Women Dialogues, please connect with us. Please share, subscribe, and like. And thank you. See you in the next time. Till then, take care of yourself and do not forget to check Sophia's work, and her details are available in the description below as well. See you next time. Till then, take care. Enjoy. Bye bye.